following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WZWA Network and our review show here of WWE's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I'm your host with the most on the West Coast, Karlifornia and Fury. What a joy to be with you all. And I have some guests here with me to review this show. And first and foremost, I'm going to introduce my usual co-reviewer of these shows, the one and only Jooseyboy. Bro, I didn't think I'd be seeing you on a review very soon, but you're here.
Yeah, well, I'll be able to do the occasional one here and there over the next few months. I just won't be able to do the full-time schedule. And by the way, dickhead, it was from Jeddah, not Riyadh. Get it right.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. My bad. Okay, it was from Jeddah. Thanks for that. Okay, and moving on to our very, very special guest here from the MWA Podcast Network. This guy right here, he's the big kahuna, the big cheese. He's Big Papa. He's the one and only, he's the Mac Daddy of the MWA Podcast Network, the dad bod god himself, the bald, the beard, the beautiful, the one and only Piers Austin. What's going on, bro?
Not much. Thank you for having me. What an amazing intro, man. And, Mr. Juicy, I'm glad to see you alive and well, my friend. It's a scary couple of weeks that you've had, dude.
Oh, yeah, man. It's been fucked. I think you're probably one of the only people that's glad to see that I'm still alive because everyone was enjoying, the break from my fucking obnoxious talking for a couple of weeks. But, I'm back, bitch. Deal with it.
Fuck yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us, Piers. And this was certainly an interesting pay-per-view. I was at a 40th birthday party last night. And when I got home, I started watching it live, and that therefore meant I was trapped and couldn't fast forward anything. So that was my situation last night. So we'll kick off here, and I will just talk about a couple of things before we get to our first match. I hate the graphics, and I hate the lukewarm, limp dick open of the show.
Me too.
That every single time it seems like it's this lukewarm opening. I just don't understand why that they've got this budget for Saudi Arabia. Where's all the fireworks? Where's the craziness that we've seen in the past? What do you guys think of that?
I think that the then now forever part intro as well, and I mentioned this on NXT Roundup this week, was I think it's an absolute fucking joke. It sounds like shit. Just to put John Cena going then, now, forever. To get it sounds cheaply done. It sounds like crap. It doesn't need to be done. Is it because they're trying to get Cena back for a big fucking thing and he's going, so they're trying to, polish his knob for it? I don't know, but dude, I find it to be like a little bit lackluster in it. But, to be honest, I think the Saudi Arabia show, overall, man, this show was made I don't think this was booked by WWE. This was booked by the Saudi princes and shit like that, dude. And that was pretty evident.
Yeah, well, I just want to add on to that. The first few, I totally agree with you guys because the first, 3 bullet points on my notes here are new signature at the beginning of the show is shit house. Hate the music for the hype package. Hype package is crap. That's it. That's the first few.
Oh, dear. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come with this review here today. Okay, so look, guys, I'm gonna get our special guest here to chime in for this match. First up, to find out, Piers Austin, your thoughts on 2 years in the making for this matchup right here. Roman Reigns, Goldberg. What did you think?
To be honest, I didn't really give a fuck about this match because, I thought if they have Goldberg come in and go over Roman Reigns, again, they're just bringing in this fucking old guy to play wrestler once every year to once every 2 years and go over a top talent. Going over Kevin Owens a couple years back, Bray Wyatt, he's basically the fucking career killer if you look at it. Roman Reigns on the hottest run of his career, hands down. And, after 10 years of being a WWE performer at that level, finally getting how to do what a promo, finally getting how it works, that to me would be fuck, that would be the biggest fucking travesty in the business is to fucking cut his legs out at this stage. And I think that they did a right thing by promoting how he was coming out. You know, he's in the category of the longest reigning with like a Bruno Sammartino, a Hulk Hogan, a Bob Backlund, you know, putting those names out there. You know, it's subliminal messaging like that. It gives the fans of the audience and also that older generation of fans like our age and above that are tuning in with their kids or their grandkids or whatever the fuck it is. And they're going, oh, okay, this guy is like the man. So that's, you can see they're trying to get him over. But having Reigns going over and having this match kind of be like, it wasn't a long match. And with Goldberg, it probably wasn't ever going to be a long match. But I think that it was a realistic ending. Goldberg, you know, losing. And I think that's what happened the last time he come back as well. Like, you know, he got beaten by Lashley. You know, that's what it needs to be. But how many times you need to come out? Are you going to job out Goldberg before that starts to affect his legacy from 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good call, bro. Juicy boy, what were your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is probably the first example because Piers, I was saying to Carl before you actually got into the call here that I think I'm going to have a much more positive outlook on this show than you guys, because there was actually quite a number of things that I really enjoyed. But as far as this match itself, I agree with most of what you said about Goldberg, but as far as Goldberg's star power, he's still a star. As far as the audience in Saudi Arabia is concerned, it's still a big deal and a big draw for them. I really enjoyed Goldberg's comments in the hype package about just being who he is and not giving a fuck about whether people like it. I like the idea of also coming back to this match that we obviously missed at Mania. You know, I loved Roman Reigns' responses to Goldberg's comments in said hype package by basically saying, look, maybe in the 1990s he would have had a chance against me, but I'm in God mode, so he definitely has no chance now. That is exactly the kind of story that they should have been telling going into this thing. Roman Reigns is currently the biggest star of the wrestling business in this current era, not CM Punk or anyone from AEW, so suck shit. All right. Now, as far as the match itself, I didn't really care necessarily for them opening with it, but now in retrospective, I sort of see why they did. Corey Graves was annoying immediately. I wish that he would just shut the fuck up. You know, I think that Goldberg, training-wise, looked in great shape, physically speaking, even if he wasn't necessarily moving around the best. I think that at least looks-wise, from the external appearance, he was looking good. I think this had a big fight feel. I think that the immediate "this is awesome" chant shows that even if it's not really something that the three of us personally as fans are really into, I think that it shows that these guys definitely do have that star power, that star quality that WWE and wrestling in general is really lacking a lot of the time. Two big bulls going at it. I thought Roman was getting some great heat early on. I loved the first Goldberg spear. I loved the Uranagi counter out of the jackhammer. I thought that was brilliant. You know, I loved the second Goldberg, like the spear counter on the second spear attempt. I thought that was great. I also loved the counter into the guillotine. I felt like the commentators were on their game for this opening match, except for Corey Graves. I felt like they were treating this like a big fight. They understood what a big deal this match was. I was shocked by Goldberg actually passing out with the 3 arm drops. They rarely ever do that, so I was shocked in a good way. That's exactly the kind of dominant victory that Roman Reigns needed to get over a guy like Goldberg at this particular stage of his run, because he is, like we said, you know, on the hottest run of his career, possibly the hottest run of any wrestler in years. So I think that they made the right decision with how they put Roman over Goldberg, and they didn't keep Goldberg out there too long. He didn't overstay his welcome. This thing probably went for maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes at most, the bulk of this match, and I think that's all it needed to be. And I think that really worked in its favor. So I actually gave this match an A- as a rating, because I was expecting it to be so shit, and I was expecting it to piss me off so much that what they did actually end up booking fucking impressed the fuck out of me. So I gave it a high rating on that basis. I didn't think it was bad at all, but I agree with you guys. I agree with you, Piers. I'm kind of getting sick of Goldberg coming out there and shit. I think it's starting to be enough by this point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the match itself, like you even mentioned, like the 3-arm drop, they didn't actually do that. He just came over and just went,
Yeah,
like, I mean, like just this little, I mean, like picking up a limp dick.
like
and just, I mean, like, what the fuck is that? I mean, like, yeah, they should have done that big thing and make it more dramatic, like the one, and that's what's missing now. Just going like, and that's the sort of crowd, that sort of shit would have gone over big, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like that was the crowd to do that sort of that spot in.
Yeah, dead on.
Well, Jooseyboy, I have a complete different take on the match. I was so disappointed in it. I didn't write many notes because I was in a bad mood already from it. I think during Reigns' entrance, you know that they have that like cartoon of him like in the air. It looks so tacky when they do that shit. I really hate that. I wish they would stop doing that. But the only other note I wrote was "Don't get me started" because I was just, and that's just me talking to myself in my notes. You know, like I was mad because I expected a bit more. I really wanted it to be a bit more dramatic. It felt like when the finish came, it just felt like that's it. What about Reigns hitting the spear on Goldberg? What about like the near falls and all that stuff? I just felt like, you know, I needed to see a jackhammer. I needed to see Reigns kick out of that jackhammer, right? You know, this seems to be like a formula that takes place quite a lot in Goldberg's matches where they begin and then we're already heading toward the finishing sequences of a match. But I just was really disappointed. I really wanted Goldberg to be able to kind of prove some of those naysayers out there wrong, because I thought his match with Lashley at Crown Jewel was fantastic. I was really happy with what he did in that match. And so for this one, I just was, you know, expecting kind of a similar thing. But it is
bro,
what it
look
is.
Look who he was in the ring with there, man. He's
Yeah,
in the ring with Goldberg, who almost fucking killed The Undertaker. Who almost, you know what I mean, killed careers. Like, do you honestly think that Roman was remotely wanting to have that match? Knowing how WWE's booking goes, that like within a cunt hair of a time difference, they could easily change that finish. Fuck, they could have changed the finish in the middle of the match.
Yeah, well, thankfully they didn't. That would have been a travesty. But let's move forward, guys. The next matchup was the Women's Elimination Chamber matchup. I'll start it off here. The entrances, I was just thinking, geez, these are so fucking long. And I also feel like I hate what this match has become. The Elimination Chamber, when it first started, really looked dangerous. Now it looks like a toy. And I just feel like, hey, if it was too dangerous, you know, in the first place and people getting hurt, then I would say just don't do the match anymore if you're going to make it look like a toy, as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, it only happens once a year, you know, so to take a bump on a steel grating once a year, maybe, you know, that shouldn't be too bad. But then again, I'm not one of the workers. I just thought that it sucked after Rhea's inclusion in the match. Her getting eliminated. It just, to me, foregone conclusion. You could see a mile away that Bianca Belair's winning this thing. So I was just thinking, this match is pointless. We could have just seen something else rather than go through this whole thing just to get that foregone conclusion. And I'm starting to feel like Bianca Belair's been kind of like booked like Roman Reigns was in his babyface run a few years ago. It's just like, it's just obvious where they're headed. And I just wrote that this was potato soup. I don't care. And I was, very disappointed. But you know, that's just how I am sometimes when I can see what the finish is going to be ahead of time. So I'm going to throw it now to Jooseyboy. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say, first of all, that I thought it was amazing that the ladies are getting the opportunity on this stage in Saudi Arabia. Really, you know, I think they deserve to be included as a part of these shows in Saudi Arabia, and I like the fact that they had the opportunity in this big match. Totally agree with you, Carl, about the chamber looking like a toy. And even though there was a number of spots I enjoyed in this match, there was no spots in this match that couldn't have been safely executed on the old chamber design, and still nobody would have been injured. You know, so the padding on the outside and shit just wasn't necessary. Hated Alexa Bliss's stupid as fuck swing in the pods. I thought that was fucking dumb. The crowd seems really into the ladies here. I loved it when Doudrop said, "Ain't no partners in the chamber, baby." I thought that was funny. I thought she did a really nice stinger splash into the chains and a brutal Samoan and wasteland combo onto Liv Morgan on the chamber floor that was pretty good. Followed that up with actually a pretty brutal looking running senton. So she was the big hoss, the powerhouse in this thing. She played that role really well. One thing I did like about this match, despite being taken out of it a little bit by the new style design, was I liked that they actually used the different parts of the chamber in the spots. They didn't just kind of have a multi-man match and then occasionally just toss each other to the outside like they sometimes do. I came to the conclusion that whether she's a good character or not, Alexa Bliss actually sucks as an in-ring worker, and she should be way further along at this point in her career from a physical in-ring standpoint, but she just sucks. This is awesome chant again. The crowd appreciates it. Liv Morgan is the MVP for me in this match as far as taking the bumps and taking the abuse. She really went through a hell of a lot of punishment. Gorgeous sunset flip powerbomb to get Doudrop out. I thought that was a good elimination. I am actually a big fan of Bianca Belair, even though I agree with your point, Carl, about the Roman Reigns booking. That's going to start to get old really quickly, but she herself is a great performer. Loved the one-handed military press, thought that was really good. Loved Rhea Ripley's facial expressions. I thought that Liv Morgan's double code breaker-esque move was also really impressive. And I thought it was a decent Twisted Bliss to knock Liv Morgan out, although I felt like Liv Morgan should have lasted longer than Alexa Bliss did. Great double powerbomb into the chains. That looked like it fucking hurt. The ending of the match seemed to have the crowd into it. You know, as you said, bit of a foregone conclusion, but it was a dominant finish. And I think it was still the right move to have Bianca Belair win, because I think that, you know, she's one of the best female performers currently in the business. I gave this match a C+. Once again, mostly it was because it exceeded expectations, but I also think the women deserve a little bit of a pat on the back for the efforts that they put in here. They tried their best. They went out there and they really put in the effort to try to have a good main event level match here. So C+.
Good call, bro. Piers?
Well, I agree with it's a huge moment for women to be spotlighted in Saudi Arabia the way that they were, and also for WWE to go to that extra mile to go and get them proper outfits to cover the women respectfully. I think that the outfits looked great. As far as Liv Morgan is concerned, I just look at her and go, is she a star? How long has she been there? You know, is there star potential for her? She's a good background player, but is she a star? I don't see it. I think she's on borrowed time in WWE. Alexa Bliss, again, another one. I think she's on borrowed time in WWE. Yeah. The overall chamber. Sorry?
No, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah. The overall chamber itself, look, I agree with you. It looks like a fucking kid's toy, man, to be honest with you. These people, it used to be a sinister looking thing, you know, cage and everything like that. But in reality, it's just a padded up, you know, storage hell in a cell, really. You know what I mean? Because that's what it looks like, you know what I mean? And like, there's no real big spots. Like, they could easily put in, though, instead of those perspirated plastics, make it look like a CZW cage of death and put in like fucking panes of glass. You know, even if it's sugar glass. You know what I mean? Like, give off that fucking whatever. Like, it doesn't have to, no one needs to get overly gigged up to get that big shatter going. It makes it a big spectacle, and it's a once a year thing, man. But you know, and again, if they're all covered up, it doesn't really matter. But overall, I thought this match was okay. You know, the Nikki Ash character, like ASH, I should say, I've never really gotten. I think Rhea Ripley is, you know, a star who is just, unfortunately, you know, the women's division is almost like the Clique was in the 90s. And I think Becky and Charlotte, as much as they're saying they're not friends and don't like each other, they're keeping that women's division on lockdown. And you're going to see stars like, you know, Toni Storm asking for a release. Could Rhea Ripley be the next one to ask for that? And Rhea Ripley is a fucking massive fucking star and has massive star potential. But overall, I thought this match was okay. It wasn't the shits. Disappointing how the cage looked. I can understand them wanting to make their workers safe, but overall, I think the cage looked like a fucking dog's breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call, bro. And you know, one thing I wanted to say, it was such a relief to see the ladies wearing these outfits, because I don't know if you remember what they wore at Crown Jewel with the fucking baggy t-shirts. It looked like a backyard wrestling, like, you know what I mean? Like, but another thing I thought that I had, because I was in a chat room with some friends watching along from the States, and we were making comments like, because Naomi also was on this show wearing one of those suits, and I was thinking, like, I get that they got to hide their bodies, but these suits are pretty nice and tight. So I mean, I just thought it was kind of humorous. That I was feeling like, geez, like they're hiding their bodies, but damn, you can still really see everything that you want to see.
Well, it's leaving it to the imagination, right? So just because you can't see it doesn't mean you can't appreciate it, homie.
That's it, bro. That's it.
A beautiful figure is a beautiful figure.
Yeah, that's for sure, bro. And
says speaking the dad bod
God. Speaking of appreciating a body, and Naomi, she was in the next contest on Elimination Chamber 2022. I didn't know about this match being booked ahead of time. When I found out that Ronda Rousey was going to have one arm tied behind her back, I was like, okay, we'll see where this goes. Then when I saw her come out, and it looked like she was wearing I know it's supposed to be a gi, but it looked like she was wearing a bathrobe.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah. It looked like she was wearing pajamas. But anyway, it was Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville against Ronda Rousey and Naomi. I'm going to go with you first here, Piers. I want to know, your thoughts on this matchup with the added stipulation of Ronda's hand being behind her back.
Look, man, I haven't really been watching much SmackDown or Raw lately. Is Naomi like a main relevant figure in the women's division now? Because I feel like I hadn't heard of her at all.
I think they've been starting to push her a little bit in the last few months with this storyline with Sonya Deville, who's one of the, I guess, general managers of whatever the brand is that they're on.
Nobody really cares.
Really cares. Yeah, like they've been doing a couple of things here and there, and at least it's been a story that's moved along for the last few months. But yeah, I feel like Naomi has been booked like shit her whole career.
I think she's a phenomenal star. I think she's a star. I think she's got all that. I think she's phenomenal. Like you see her with kids in that Be a Star ads and all that sort of shit. She looks natural with them. I think she's money, to be honest. I think she should be someone they push, and I hope that they end up doing what they did with Mandy Rose with her. Maybe in the next 6 to 12 months, send her down to NXT, give her a fucking main event push down there, and just reestablish her some severe. Because let's face it, Mandy will come back and she'll be a fucking main event star to slide in there against the Charlotte or a Becky all day, every day, Monday or Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever fucking day SmackDown's on. But overall, I thought this match was okay. Charlotte is looking just more and more just odd every time I see her. I feel like Sonya Deville is another one which is just on borrowed time in WWE. I don't know if I really care if she's in a match or not. And I'm not saying she's a shit performer. I'm not saying any of that. I just don't know if I personally care to see her perform. Like, wrestling's subjective. And for me, she's just one of the ones I'm like, okay. And that's not a personal thing. That's just, you're not someone I like to watch wrestling, like, period. But overall, I thought the match was average at best. It was okay. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really see any major fuck ups. I mean, I think the armbar win with Ronda being one-armed, yeah, okay, you want to put Ronda over strong, but again, you're putting over strong a woman who's been away for the last 12 to 18 months over talent that's been there consistently. Granted, Sonya Deville has had, a little bit of a sabbatical here and there, but still, overall, man, I think it was a bad decision on their part, just sort of the way that they booked it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to ask you a follow-up question here, Piers, because I've been thinking about this ever since Ronda started wrestling in the WWE. Is it just me, or does she not lock in that armbar properly? Because it always seems like the girl's elbow's bent every single time. Isn't an armbar supposed to be to hyperextend the elbow?
It is, but remember, she's doing a working armbar, bro. Like, fuck, if like, I put you in a shoot armbar, you're gonna be wanting to tap out pretty quick, man. Like, it's not a fucking pleasant thing to be in, bro. Like, and you have it
Yeah,
into
man.
fucking, you can fuck someone's arm up, dude. I've rolled jiu-jitsu with guys who've like put me in an armbar once and fucked my arm for months, bro.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I understand. I just feel like you can keep the arm straight without actually pulling too far on it. That's just.
Well, there's different ways to do it, and if you see how Alberto Del Rio did his armbar, he would have his legs straight, wrapped around the person's like leg with his feet almost around near their throat, around here, and then have their arm, which that wouldn't hurt. But if you have the leg up underneath, like here, pulling him in, and one leg over their neck, then you're pulling him straight into it. That fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just wanted to see your thoughts because I've asked many friends over the last few years about that. Juicy Boy, thoughts on this matchup here?
All right. Well, number one, it is absolutely fucking disgusting that Charlotte Flair is already a 13-time women's champ.
When I heard the commentators say that, I was like, "You serious?"
Let me. Can I finish, bro? Can I finish?
It's my turn to interrupt you, bro.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, but no, I had exactly that same reaction. I thought it was absolutely fucking disgusting and an absolute disgrace. She shouldn't be anything more than a 4-time champ at most by this point, if they knew how to book properly, which they clearly don't. I actually liked the angle with the arm injury to Sonya Deville being contrasted with Rousey's arm being tied behind her back. I think that was a great use of an old school style wrestling angle, which I think the Saudi fans would really dig. As you said, both of you guys, like Naomi is a beautiful woman and a great star and a great athlete, but so out of place in the match credibility wise. I felt bad for her. As you said, it kind of looked like she was wearing floppy pajamas, but I do like the idea of Ronda Rousey wearing the gi to the ring, because once again, I think that's also something that the very sports-oriented Saudi Arabian fans would really get behind and enjoy. Thought it was good heel work to start with by Sonya when she ripped off the arm brace, and it turned out that she didn't have an arm injury. That was a nice, again, another old school little heel move that I kind of enjoyed there. I think Rousey definitely has the potential to be a big star in the wrestling industry, but she also seemed for a lot of this like she didn't really give a shit, and she would have just been just as happy to be anywhere else. They did a decent job protecting the armbar. They also did a great job building for that eventual Charlotte versus Ronda singles match. As the match went on, I thought Ronda's selling got better. I thought it was a great cutoff, stopping Ronda from making the tag at one point in the match. I thought that was one of the best tag cutoffs I'd seen in months in WWE. I wrote here, I believe Naomi and Bianca Belair could tear the house down in their own pay-per-view main event if you gave them enough time. Naomi hit a gorgeous corkscrew plancha to the outside. She's a fantastic high flyer, great athlete. Loved the sit-out powerbomb by Charlotte. I think Sonya is really capable of being a very good heel, but I also think they're still not really giving her enough oomph to work with in what they've got her doing on TV. So it's not coming across just how much of a heelish bitch she can be because they're not really giving her enough of a chance to do it. I didn't mind the finish with Rousey hitting the Piper's Pit and Charlotte sort of just letting Sonya be thrown to the wolves and be tapped out to that armbar. I thought that was a nice heel move. And just adding on to what you said in your comments, Piers, I agree. Every time I see Charlotte go out there on TV, it looks like she is less and less interested in what she's doing out there. It just looks like she just looks bored. She just looks unengaged.
Checked out.
Exactly. Checked out. That's the perfect term. She just looks like she's checked out. I ended up giving this match a D+. I thought it was okay. I would have wanted to give it a little bit of a higher match, but when I think about the effort that I felt like the women's chamber competitors put into their match, I felt like I couldn't justify giving this anything higher than a D+, because it just felt like, with the exception of Naomi herself, all the other women in the match just seemed checked out, as you said, and unengaged.
All right, yeah, good points there, bro. Yeah, it just feels like they must have been hot potatoing these women's championships over the course of the last few years that I haven't been watching. I know that there's been plenty of times that Charlotte's dropped the belt, then won it back, then dropped it, then won it back, over the course of just a couple of months.
There's a reason for that, bro. Like, you look at it, like her dad being the 17-time world champion. If Ric Flair hadn't have had this fallout with WWE, you would see Charlotte having more reigns and stuff like that. We've already seen her turn on her dad once or twice,
But I don't mean to cut you off there, but dude, like, Ric Flair was a 16-time world champion over the course of a 35-year distinguished career. Charlotte Flair's only been wrestling in WWE since like 2011, and she's already up to.
Dude, I completely agree with you on that one, but I think they were doing it to build towards some sort of angle and storyline about it. But in the same sense, like with Charlotte Flair, people say she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. You're fucking kidding yourself. She's not even the greatest currently in professional wrestling. She's not even in that fucking conversation. That bullshit she fucking did with Nia Jax a few months ago, that showed exactly how fucking green she was and how fucking green Nia was in the business to go out there on one of the biggest wrestling TV show in the fucking world and pull a stunt like that. Both of them should be released then and there. That was embarrassing, not only for the company, but also for women's wrestling.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Agreed as well. But yeah, I just wasn't really into this matchup. I wasn't a fan of the stipulation. I kind of thought that was just, I don't know, it took away from things. I know that there was a story being told though, but yeah. I think, Naomi, Sonya are victims of being only as good as the material written and given to you.
Yeah.
Because I was actually impressed with Sonya and her work at the Rumble as a heel. Imagine they made her be that heel GM role like that they would have with Stephanie McMahon, where no one could fucking touch her for fucking months. And already she's had to come up several times.
She doesn't have that personality, bro.
Yeah, that might be it too. But just wasn't really into it. I don't really have anything else to add. I feel bad, but luckily I've got you guys here to make some good points. Let's move forward here. And another thing that I'm really, 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 really not into: Madcap Moss, Drew McIntyre. I wrote one fucking note for this, and it's not against either of them because I could see the effort that was put forth. I could see the effort that Drew was putting in. Even Moss was, he was taking a lot of fucking bumps of those belly to bellies. I just wrote shit. Not because of the effort, not because of the match being particularly bad or anything. I just wasn't into it because of the story, because Moss hasn't been established as someone that I actually think could possibly beat Drew McIntyre at this stage. Again, foregone conclusion. I said it for 18 weeks when we reviewed AEW Jooseyboy. I am sick of the foregone conclusion, knowing ahead of time when you see two guys out there, you know who's winning ahead of time. So how am I supposed to get invested emotionally in the matchup? That's just me. So Jooseyboy, I'll let you take it from there. Madcap Moss and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, so first of all, really fucking annoying hype package. Who fucking gives a shit? Like, I'd rather go back into the coma than have to sit through a hype package like that ever again. There is absolutely no fucking heat on this match. Drew McIntyre is still a star, but he's definitely slid down, obviously, from where he was, only 6 months ago. It's definitely an FGC, the foregone conclusion. I just want to shout out, I like that Jessica Carr, the female ref, was given a match to officiate in Saudi Arabia. I think that's progress as well. That's worth mentioning. Fuck Madcap Moss's stupid fucking suspenders. Fuck Byron Saxton. He's really fucking annoying. I really enjoyed the Glasgow kiss that Drew McIntyre.
Tell us how you really feel, bro.
Don't worry, bro. I'm going to. I really enjoyed.
He says so many nice things about you.
Yeah. Well, he owes me money, dude. He owes me $15. So
fuck him. Fuck him.
But nice Glasgow kiss on the outside. I like that Baron Corbin actually exploited the rules of the match and continuously interfered on behalf of his partner Madcap Moss. So often when they do these kind of matches, you don't see them book it like that. But in real life, if there was a match with absolutely no rules like this one, why wouldn't Happy Corbin just keep interfering and trying to like bash the shit out of McIntyre? So I like that they did that. I also popped for Corbin, like confidently running up and trying to get involved and then immediately running off like a bitch as soon as McIntyre turned around and started chasing him. I thought that was great. I thought it was great when Madcap was drilled into the screen like a bitch. And, I thought that looked really cool. I also like that they actually went for pin and submission attempts in areas other than the ring and the ringside area. Because like we said, it's a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's what they're supposed to do. Nice fall-away slam on the ramp. Madcap Moss is so fucking annoying in a good way. That was a fucked Alabama slam onto Moss's head. I hope he's okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was really fucking brutal. Weak belly to belly onto the announce table. I felt like it let the heat out of this match briefly, but they got it back. I loved it when McIntyre got belted in the back with a chair out of nowhere, like suck shit, loser. Good false finish off of that barricade ram. I loved Drew McIntyre selling his own superplex. That's what a true pro should do. The thing with the sword being swung at the end, like I literally was laughing at, like, why would they ever allow a live beheading on pay-per-view? You know, like, not a bad finish, if not a little, yeah, not a terrible finish, although it was definitely quite goofy. And I ended up giving this match a C rating, like a C minus. I'm going to say actually C minus rating.
Very good, bro. But with it being in Saudi Arabia, maybe a live beheading might get a pop. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that won't make the final cut.
Piers Austin, bro, what did you think?
I have no idea who the fuck this Moss guy is. He comes out looking like fucking Gretel with his fucking little suspenders, his fucking short shorts, and his fucking little loafer shoes on. Like, what the fuck? He's going up against the Scottish Psycho Killer, and they have this guy coming out there again. Yeah. I agree with Jooseyboy, man. This guy had no you got him out on pay-per-view against one of your biggest stars. So be it that Drew has probably slipped down in the recent months. But again, Corbin being involved in the outside and coming in, getting that cheap heat, that was needed to get this match over. Because I don't think Drew, I think Drew's talented, but I just think that this Riddick Moss just doesn't have the star power, especially in such a mark event like being in Saudi Arabia where they wanted fucking like Macho Man versus Ultimate Warrior as the main event. Just goes to show. But I think that even that spot with that Alabama slam, man, that just shows like that move like that he took was it looked fucking nasty. The fact he was able to get up and walk out of that, man, go buy a fucking lottery ticket, dude, because you are lucky as fuck, because that was like straight spiked down on your neck, man. Respect
for continuing on after that. That's tough.
But that's that American football background training, and which they even acknowledged on commentary, which I think even to furthermore get him over. But the thing was his in-ring work wasn't getting him over. That's why they needed to do that. They needed to acknowledge that slam because it looked so fucking nasty. And then even saying that's that conditioning from that football background, that never give up, that never die attitude, that strength, all that sort of shit to be able to get him over. Did he get over in this match? Like, even though he did the favors? Not really. Did he get any more exposure? Probably. But is he now going to be catapulted to a main eventer? Probably not.
Yeah. No. Just some rough stuff here. But props to the guys for the effort put forth. But it just wasn't there for me. And then after this, guys, I didn't even realize, but on the pre-show, they had The Miz and Rey Mysterio. And I was like, why wasn't that on the main show? I would have loved to have seen The Miz and Mysterio. That would have been great. It looked like it was great. And they had, Dominic out there with them as well.
My son Dominic. Dominic amigo.
I was just disappointed that wasn't on the main show. It's a long enough show. Moving forward, guys, another match on the show this is one of the matches I was really excited for. Lita taking on Becky Lynch. Well, I guess it is a foregone conclusion. We know Lita's not winning the belt here, but Piers, I'm going to go with you first here. What did you think of Lita and Becky?
I'll give a follow-up to that. The week leading up to this, I saw an interview with Lita, and she goes, I've only signed to do a one-match deal with WWE. There's only going to be one match. Okay, great. So you're saying that you're going into a pay-per-view in a title match telling us that you're going to fucking lose.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll tune in for that one, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Lita's a fucking veteran. She should know better. That just shows, hey, I'm just turning to collect a big fucking paycheck.
Yeah.
And then fucking bounce.
Yeah.
But no respect to the business in that. No respect to the company. And like, to be honest, the company should have just went, you know what, fuck it. We're just going to scrap it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
And I guarantee if that was an event in America and that had gotten out, they would have had to scrap the event.
Mm-hmm.
Jooseyboy, thoughts of the match?
Yeah, so I think that Lita herself physically didn't look too bad. Thought she looked okay. I do not give a shit about Becky Lynch at all. I cannot wait until she is no longer champion and goes all the way back to being like at the bottom of the women's card. I can't stand her. And forevermore, all I'm going to be doing constantly is waiting until I don't have to watch her in main event programs because I just can't stand her. You Still Got It chant for Lita was unearned. I thought that she barely still had it. You know, I think that she did okay. She didn't completely embarrass herself, but it definitely didn't earn that fucking You Still Got It chant. That is meant to be for when a wrestler that's been away for a long time comes back and it's like they haven't been gone for more than a day. Like when Road Dogg made his first in-ring return in years at Royal Rumble 2011. And, you know, he just absolutely lit it up on fire when he came into that match. That was an example of an earned You Still Got It chant. This was an example of the crowd just doing it just to be nice. Becky Lynch's heat was fucking boring, as usual. Decent exploiter suplex. Nice counter from the third exploiter attempt into the DDT, though. Nice touch having Lita actually bust a submission out to try to match the disarmor. I thought that was a decent little touch. Not a bad false finish off of that first manhandle slam. And, you know, I thought it was a decent attempt at trying to get Becky some heat by having her try to steal the moonsault. You know, I thought Lita's Lita salt and the false finish of it was probably my favorite spot of the match. I think that was really the only spot / false finish that kind of went over the way that they wanted this match to go over. The finish was fucking flat as fuck. It deflated the rest of the match for me. I thought that, you know, Lita tried her best to put in a decent effort, but she's definitely, you know, she's an older woman now. And again, same as what we said with Charlotte in the previous match, she also just looked disengaged and a little bit checked out of this whole thing. Like she was phoning it in a little bit, you know? And I ended up giving this match a D+ as well.
Yeah, it wasn't what I was hoping. Because I was hoping it was going to be like when Trish wrestled Charlotte. I think it was SummerSlam a few years ago. I was really impressed with that matchup. I thought, wow, Trish really showed that she was able to wrestle like on a level of a women's match that you see these days, and you know, not those like 5-minute matches you saw on Raw back in the early 2000s. So I don't feel like I really got that with this matchup. I will say, though, that spot that you were talking about with the lead assault, that was one moment of the match. I was like, okay, I really like that. But other than that, not, again, was disappointed with the results there. Before we get to the final matchup of the show, there is a supposed matchup that was supposed to be taking place here. The Viking Raiders against the Usos. Jooseyboy, I'll let you take this one. What did you think of what they did with this?
This may actually surprise you, but I actually liked the sneak attack, and I love the fact that it actually wound up with the match getting thrown out, as opposed to the beaten down wrestlers going, no, we're fine, ring the bell, and then only to just immediately get pinned 30 seconds after that. I actually liked the fact that this got the match thrown out because it felt more like a real sport, like something that would happen if this was a real legitimate sport, that's what would happen. The match would have been called off. And B, when they actually do put the Viking Raiders in the ring against the Usos, it won't be as much of a foregone conclusion because now there's actually going to be a little bit of heat on behalf of the Viking Raiders because they've got a reason to be pissed off at the Usos and a reason to go after those titles. So I actually didn't mind that bit. I did not give it a rating though. I gave it an NA for a rating because the match never actually happened.
Yeah, good point, bro. When I knew that this was going to be taking place, I was like, I don't really care to see this right now because, again, just for me, there was no heat. So now I'd be more interested in seeing a rematch now because this happened.
Exactly.
And so I was glad that I didn't have to sit through the match because it would have been, again, another foregone conclusion. But, yeah, it was, it was just there. Piers, what did you think?
I mean, I think that there's a couple of things they could have done it. They could have had the Viking Raiders looking strong there going, fuck that, let's go, and still had a good match. I think the live crowd probably were the ones who got cheated out of it, to be honest. Did the live crowd really give a fuck?
No. No.
You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Like, if they didn't feel cheated, then who the fuck am I to feel cheated for them? You know what I mean? If the match going to happen, I think it will. I think they'll definitely have that rematch. As you said, Jooseyboy gives them that next level to put a bit more heat on this match, a bit more heat on the Usos. Man, WWE tag team wrestling, bro, just sucks. You know what I mean? And it's so like you can see good tag teams, and you see tag teams coming through, like the Creed brothers, Legado del Fantasma, fucking who else we got down there? Like, I don't know.
Not many. There's not many.
Imperium. There's like grizzled young vets, these guys coming through. And it upsets me because in like the next 2 to 3 years, are they just going to be jobbed out on fucking Monday Night Raw or doing stupid tag team spots or just doing jobs to the fucking Usos while the Usos and New Day trade the belts back and forth?
Or just being bodies to be thrown out of the Royal Rumble match or into a 24/7 segment,
Right.
Yeah. It's such a shame what they've done to tag team wrestling over there because, you have like teams like the Authors of Pain who did such, solid work in NXT, and then they get brought up to the main roster. And I don't think either of them are even in the business anymore because they just didn't do them justice. Every tag team they seem to bring up to the main roster, they don't do them justice, and they end up getting released a few years into their run on the main roster. So
FTR, man.
Yeah.
FTR, there's another one.
You got 2 divisions of tag teams on 2 different brands. I think you just need 1 set of tag titles. Keep the tag teams on 1 brand. You don't need 2 fucking tag titles as far as I'm concerned. It's just and like what happened with the women's tag titles?
Fucking tag teams.
Why do they bring in a women's tag title when they don't have any women's tag teams?
Yeah.
It's all thrown together singles wrestlers that aren't doing anything singles wise. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Just a shame. When you think back to that Attitude Era, the amount of tag teams they had back then, Hardy's, Edge and Christian, Dudley's, APA, fucking the Holly Cousins, Too Cool, you name, they had a fucking hell of a division back then.
Yeah.
But they also had people that knew how to book talent back then too.
100%, bro. 100%.
Or you at least had people back then that Vince McMahon was willing to listen to back then. Now it just seems like, fuck it, we're doing it this way. Fuck it.
I've always said this, man. I'd love to get a job with WWE. Like when I want to be the guy that pushes like the senile Vince McMahon around backstage in his wheelchair, just fucking with him. You know what I mean? Like just going, hey, you know what we should do, Vince? We should do like a Viagra on a pole match between like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, fuck yeah, we're gonna put on NXT. Fucking let's go.
Yeah,
that's good shit.
My act. Everyone look at my act. Yeah, it's my act.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, it's time to get to the main event here of Elimination Chamber 2022. It is the men's Elimination Chamber matchup for the championship that Bobby Lashley has. Let's see if I can remember everyone that was in the matchup. Okay, it's Lashley, Riddle, Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins. There's someone else, right?
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. There we go. Okay. I'm going to throw this to our very, very special guest, and thank you again for being on the show with us here, Piers. Piers Austin, let me know what you thought of this main event and its conclusion.
Well, Lashley got taken out pretty early, while standing in the pod. So from everything that I've heard and on the rumor mill is that he was injured and is expected to be out for 4 months.
Yeah.
So they're writing him off. I think they could have done it a little bit earlier in the thing, like before any eliminations happened. I think that they actually did it before.
They did do it. Yeah, they did, bro.
But I think that they could have done it a little bit earlier, like have him coming to the ring and have him getting jumped by someone. You know what I mean? Like, or something happened.
Like Theory could have jumped him or some shit.
Theory or like Reigns or the Usos or like, you know what I mean? Like, why the fuck are they jumping Lashley? Why, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then they have that sort of story. Holy shit. Well, we know we're going to have a new world champion, right? I was still kind of, when I was watching it going, is Lashley going to come back and have this standoff with Lesnar? And that's what I thought they were going to do. Overall, I thought the match was, it's kind of hard, man, because these matches are usually clusterfucks in themselves. I thought the match overall was okay. I thought Lesnar kicking down the door that was already broken open, and he's like kicking it. He's like, oh shit, there's half the door missing. I'll just step over it now. And then they replay it and you see him kicking through the fucking broken plastic. And I'm just like, what the fuck? But overall, man, I thought it was okay. Lesnar winning the title, they're clearly going to go on for a unification match. I think what they're going to do is have these unification matches. There'll be one champion. I don't think there's going to be a universal champion after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think it's
they've already made it official after this one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Yeah, so it'll be a unification match. I think they'll also unify the women's belts. I think they'll unify the tag belts because at the end of the day, like, how can you have a tag division or two tag divisions with only like 4 tag teams?
So true. So true, man.
You know what I mean? Like it's like indie promotions that have a women's title with only 2 female two female wrestlers on the card. Well, it is but it is. It's like they're only got 2 female roster. But how can you have a champion in that? But I think that's what we're going to see more of. And I think as well, you'll start to see those championships fucking mean a lot more. But I digress. I think overall, the card overall wasn't as shit as I thought it was going to be. I give it, maybe 4.5 out of 10. The men's thing, Lesnar going over strong, I thought it was a realistic ending. Him just coming in, cleaning house, I thought it was great. Austin Theory, I think he sold his fucking ass off, regardless of like what he's done in the past and like what he got accused of in speaking out movement. I think in this match, he came in and he made everybody look like fucking $1 million. That fucking sell of that fucking F5 off the top of the pod, dude.
Yeah,
that dude earned his fucking money that night, without a doubt. Earned his fucking money.
Excellent, bro. Jooseyboy, your thoughts?
All right, so I think this is going to be another one where I probably like this maybe a little bit more than you guys, but we'll see as we go along here. I'll get through my notes. First thing I wrote, Bobby Lashley is fucking pure. Shame that he has to go and get shoulder surgery coming out of the Rumble match, because it would have been really cool to see him mix it up with Brock in this match a little bit more, but, it is what it is. I like the fact that there was a mixture of veterans and young guys in this match. That's what you need in an Elimination Chamber. You need some people that can keep that ship on the right course, but you also need some guys that can go in and take the bumps and do the selling and shit like that. Brock Lesnar is the biggest star in the wrestling business right now, bar nobody, including Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a close number 2 to Brock Lesnar, but right now it's Brock Lesnar. It's definitely not Omega or fucking Cody Rhodes or anyone like that. It's Brock Lesnar, and that's it. Great idea starting the match out with Austin Theory and Seth Rollins, because it made the crowd wait for the big guns to come into the match, like building that anticipation, you know, making everybody think to themselves like, oh, I can't wait for Lesnar to come in. I can't wait for Bobby to come in, et cetera, et cetera. Again, people are going to call me out for trashing AEW again in relation to this, especially since we're on a WWE show. But people thinking AEW is the better product is fucking insulting to the business when I look at what a huge fight field this men's chamber match had and the star power that was in this match. Regardless of whether it went perfect and stuff, it was far and away a much bigger match than anything that AEW or Impact would currently be capable of putting on right now. My favorite thing before the match really got going was the potential for a lot of the interesting different combos that we were going to see in this match. I don't think we necessarily got to see all those combos I would have wanted to see, but I definitely felt like I was interested in the potential for those combinations as this thing got going. Rollins dancing around is fucking annoying. Fuck you. Austin Theory is a future big star. I thought that there was some great work early on and throughout the entire match by Austin Theory. Loved from the production side that they continually kept on cutting to Brock Lesnar. You'd see Brock Lesnar like smiling and shit like that, getting geared up when he eventually comes in. Just reminding everybody subliminally, use that word earlier, Piers, subliminal, just letting everybody know in the back of their mind, Brock's still here, Brock's still coming in. Just wait until Brock comes in. It's going to be crazy. I really thought that was a nice production touch, and that was the smart move. Gorgeous powerbomb through Bobby's pod. I thought that was a really nice spot by all involved, and I thought that that was a great, credible way of actually taking Bobby Lashley out of the match and getting him out of that pod. I thought that Matt Riddle didn't look too bad. Matt Riddle was clearly desperate to get the opportunity to work a little bit more with Brock, but you know, as we'll see, that never ended up happening. Now that I've actually seen, because I'm a big fan of Riddle, I know a lot of people don't like Riddle, but I enjoy Riddle. And now that I've actually seen the reality of Riddle and Brock in the same ring, as much as I enjoy Riddle, singles match between them, no, that can't happen. It's just there's no way that it could be realistically done without Brock Lesnar just beating the fuck out of him in like 30 seconds. I wish that Seth Rollins would stop fucking smiling throughout this. It's meant to be a highly dangerous, highly physical, highly brutal, highly painful match. And he's fucking smiling around all the time going like, my real name is Colby Lopez, Seth freaking Rollins. Like, fuck off, dude. Take it seriously. It's meant to be a really serious fucking match. Enjoyed the inverted superplex off the top. AJ Styles is also a true star and a true pro. And I felt like having him in this match, he was, you know, sort of the glue that was helping to hold this thing together, moving back and forth between different competitors in this match, working with him, taking bumps with him, doing some offense, selling his ass off. I thought that he really showed exactly why the company sees so much value in him, even at this fucking stage of his career. I liked the fact that they didn't have any eliminations until much later in the match. They've rarely ever done that before. I thought that was an interesting dynamic that I wasn't expecting. The crowd really got into this. So even though I didn't think it was perfect, I got to respect the fact that they managed to get the fucking crowd so hyped up and frenzied up for this match. I thought that Lesnar continually smiling and looking like he was having fun in there was straight up disturbing. What a fucking monster. My favorite thing that Riddle did in this match was the homage to his tag team partner, Randy Orton, where he did the double Orton DDT. I thought that was a cool little thing. Like, even in such a serious match where he's competing for the WWE title, his mind is still on impressing Randy Orton. Like, that's still his main focus, is going, look at me, Randy. Like, are you looking at me, Randy? Like he's Randy's little brother that's trying to impress him. I thought that was hilarious. Almost finished, guys. I thought it was I actually thought it was really nice booking, having Bobby's now vacant chamber being the final one to open instead of Brock's, and then Brock getting so pissed off that he's fucking beating the shit out of the already broken pod because he's pissed off. Brock eventually comes in. I wrote, here comes the pain, bitch. Brock eliminates Rollins. Brock eliminates Riddle immediately. That was sick. We're now guaranteed a new champ because they've said Lashley is out for the night. Immediately, there's more heat on this thing for me. I'm more invested because now we're guaranteed a new champ. AJ, bumping like a champ for Brock. AJ is now gone. Lesnar, dominant as fuck, just the way that he should be. Very interesting, very telling, both from a kayfabe and non-kayfabe perspective, that Austin Theory and Brock Lesnar ended up being the final two in this match. That surprised me. I expected Austin Theory to be taken out and possibly that AJ Styles would end up being like the final one in there with Brock, if not Bobby Lashley. Great wussy heel work by Austin Theory. Theory was doing exactly what anyone in his position actually would, which would try to escape. So it was nice to see some actual logical booking that fucking made sense, and there wasn't any people acting like dumb cunts in this match. When Lesnar actually caught Theory and started throwing him around, it reminded me of the bear attack scene in The Revenant. Like, it was just like, oh god, this guy is fucked. And I thought that really came across well both on TV and in front of live audience. I thought that cutting off Lesnar with that low blow, it's a nice cutoff for a guy like Lesnar of his size that's not too far-fetched, and also a nice callback because the low blow seems to be Brock Lesnar's Achilles heel ever since he's returned to the WWE back in 2012. It seems like the one thing that can put Brock on the map is fucking kicking him in the balls. So I thought that was a really nice callback to that as well.
That'll get the best of anybody.
Yeah, of course. Except for me, because my balls are made of steel. Lesnar just seems to be even angrier after the fucking low blow, though. I thought that the Austin Theory trying to escape and then Lesnar catching up to him was a really nice, unique idea that was executed well. Oh my God, Lesnar and Theory are on top of the pod. This is going to be fucking bad. Fucked F5 off the top of the pod. Beautiful spot, beautiful selling, nice, safe execution by Brock Lesnar. He made sure that Theory well and truly cleared the pod and the ring post and everything, and that he had a nice flat area to land on. So great work by both of those guys. That's all she wrote. Incredible match for me by the end of it. I actually gave this match an A+. I actually thought this chamber match was really good because it actually was exciting and it kept on going up and down like a roller coaster, and it actually looked like the guys, it kind of reminded me of the frenetic pace of the second ever chamber match, the SummerSlam 2003 chamber match, where it just felt like everyone that was involved in it had their own motivations going in, and everyone that was involved in it had their own modus operandi for how they were going to try to overcome the task of actually coming out of this match with the title belt. I also thought it was a great way to put the belt back on Brock Lesnar for the title unification match at Mania versus Roman Reigns, which as of the pay-per-view going off the air, we now know they have made it official. So that is what they're doing. And I also thought that it was a great showing for Theory. And, I definitely can see why they see some potential in him. So that's basically my thoughts on the men's chamber.
Thanks, Juicy Boy. I'll give my thoughts, but you guys have covered it pretty solidly there. It must be devastating for WWE right now to know that they can't have Lashley in a match at WrestleMania, because it just feels like the top of the card at the moment for the men is kind of thin. As far as like marquee, main event type matches. So yeah, they must be a little disappointed about that, but it is what it is. And yes, that spot where he was taken out of the match, that was a very creative and interesting way of going about it. And again, just to reiterate, I really did love the end of the match where Theory was running away, Lesnar finally caught up to him, and when he did, they're on top of a pod. So something pretty fucking sweet's about to happen, and it did. Yeah. Lesnar had to win the match. I don't care what anyone says. People can whinge and complain on Twitter all that they fucking want. Again Lesnar. Yeah, again Lesnar, bro, because people are going to fucking tune into WrestleMania to see that fucking match. Because looking at Reigns versus Lesnar with both titles, Reigns has had such a long title reign. Lesnar's been beaten by Reigns recently. I can't.
But he's
fathom
also
who's
been
gonna
so
win.
dominant as well. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I
it's
can't.
the
I can't
opposite
think.
of a foregone conclusion.
Who goes over in this match? So Lesnar's
Yeah.
already put over Roman. Does this mean that Lesnar has to go over? Like,
Yeah.
To be honest, if Lesnar loses this match, like he's not going to lose any value, right? It's
Yeah,
fucking
absolutely.
He could go out there and
Absolutely.
fucking tutu and lose to fucking Hornswoggle and not
Mhm.
lose any value.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'd have Reigns win, to be honest with you. I'd have Reigns win and keep it to the following Mania. Like,
Yeah, me
why
too.
not?
Me too. I agree.
That'll be huge for him.
I agree.
But okay, guys. Up and down kind of show. It's time to get Piers. You said 4.5 out of 10 for your rating for the show. Juicy Boy, what was your rating out of 10 for this show?
I'm going a little bit higher. I'm actually giving this a 6.5 out of 10. I actually thought that this pissed me off a lot less than I expected, and in many places and many different parts, it actually pleasantly surprised me, and I love, as a wrestling fan, being pleasantly surprised. So 6.5 to 7 out of 10, somewhere around there. Not too bad, but still definitely could have been better, Wasn't as good as Crown Jewel, but wasn't as terrible as Day One either. So,
I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I liked Day One more than this show. I liked Crown Jewel, and I also liked Survivor Series last year better than this show. I hated the Royal Rumble, obviously.
Yeah, that sucked.
Juicy Boy.
That sucked.
But yeah, it was okay. It's just some of the things that I was hoping for, the hopes and dreams of some of these matches, when it came to fruition, it just didn't hit the mark for me. Piers, do you have any other final thoughts that you want to throw in there before we sail off into the sunset?
Nah, man, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure to always catch up on the WZWA Network with my homies and talk a bit of wrestling and, with like-minded individuals from Australia, because there's not many of us doing our thing out here, and it's good to see you guys doing exactly what you guys do and the amazing thing that you guys do. And I really want you guys to keep doing it. I encourage you guys to just keep going, man, because it's you guys doing great work over here, man. And anytime I get to come and work with you guys or have you guys on my network, it's always a pleasure. And you guys are professional as always.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. This is our first time working together, bro. I really enjoyed it, man. Would love to do another one of these with you, man, sometime.
Absolutely, brother. I'm always keen.
And speaking of the MWA Podcast Network, Piers Austin, do what you do best. Let's hear all about it. Let's see. For anyone out there that isn't aware, you should be by now. Shame on you if not. But Piers Austin, let everyone know what's going on with MWA.
Well, everybody, I am the dad bod god himself, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And I'm the mastermind, the head honcho, the El Jefe of the MWA Podcast Network. We have some amazing shows like my show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored, where I sit down with people, my friends, everyone involved in the world of professional wrestling. We have amazing conversations. We have in-depth conversations about wrestling, about life, about everything in between. You also got to check out Killing the Business, hosted by former ECW original, the Kingpin, Angel motherfucking Medina, and King Mega. Also got to check out Knights of the Gimmick Table, hosted by the Dead Presidents and Deathmatch Wrestling star Cade Lothbrock. Every single week, these shows are available. And we also have NXT Roundup for you every single week, free of charge on the MWA Podcast Network, on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, everywhere you can find us. You can find us and hit that subscribe button, and much appreciated.
Excellent, bro. And Juicy Boy, your turn. Let everyone know out there where they can find you.
Well, obviously, you can find me at Coma Boy. That's C-O. No. No, you can find me on basically every social media platform, and the handle is at Juicy Boy. And the spelling for that shit, just in case you weren't aware, is JOOSEYBOY, Juicy Boy. And I'll fucking see you on social media, you fucking bitch.
And Karlifornia, you can find on OnlyFans and Pornhub.com.
That's it, baby, right here. You can also find me on Twitter at Karlifornia WZWA. And obviously, you're here on YouTube watching this. If you haven't subscribed, click the button already, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah, man.
You find us
Press
on
that
any
shit.
other fucking thing out there, whatever platform. If you type in WZWA Network, you will find us. And also go onto the Ryzen Network, RIZON, or Ryzen.net. And you can go into the chat room, hashtag pro wrestling, a great bunch of people, great little community there to talk to about pro wrestling. So, Juicy Boy, Piers Austin, thank you so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No fucking worries. Aye.
And thank you all out there for watching this review show here of WWE Elimination Chamber 2022. I'm Karlifornia, alongside Juicy Boy, alongside Piers Austin, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.